without a doubt, Mr. Gene Kilroy, who is, everybody knows who Mr. Kilroy is, and we're going to get right into the interview. But I can say this: I had lunch with Mr. Kilroy, and I wanted to pay for lunch, but he's that type of guy. He wouldn't even let me pay for lunch. So, and I wanted to talk to him about coming on our show. Just a wonderful individual. Just have done so much for so many different people. And we're going to touch on some of those things, but I want to talk to you first. Without any further ado, Mr. Gene Kilroy, thank you so much for being here with us.
Well, Dr. Lonnie, it was nice being here, and you say that I've done a lot for the city. I mean, you've done a lot for the city. You were a great athlete at UNLV, and you're well respected no matter where you go. People recognize you and respect you. That's the biggest thing in life. If you walk in the room and you're respected, the greatest asset in life is having a true friend. And it's all about respect. Now, there's a difference between love and respect. There's children could love their parents, but they may foul up. But if they respect them, they're not going to foul up. So it's all about love. And I think I'm respected, but you too are respected.
Well, that's an understatement about your respect. And your respect transcends gender. It transcends socioeconomic boundaries. Sometimes, and I have to say this, at very iconic moments, you're the only white guy in the room. And the reason why I bring that up is that is the gift that I think most people should have, whether you're black, white, green, or purple, that you're able to communicate with all people at their level. I believe that your range, and we're going to show that in this interview, is from the back alley to the White House. I think that you have so much range. There's very few people that have the type of range that can bring the city together, the country together, just bringing people together. And I believe that is your gift.
As you mentioned earlier, I come from a home with a lot of love. And my grandmother, my mother always told me, if you can't help somebody, don't hurt them. And that's what it's about. And I remember one time I introduced my mom to Muhammad Ali in 1971. I said, Muhammad, this is my mom. He said, nice to meet you, Mrs. Kilroy. She said, my son has a lot of respect for you. And at that time, everybody used the N-word. And he told her, I'm just another trying to get bigger. And she told him, 1971, don't use that word around me. I don't want to hear that word. And he apologized. And then he said to me when she left, he said, now I know where you got your guts from. Here's a little woman, 5'4", 110 pounds. I'm 3-time AAU, 3-time Golden Glove, 3-time heavyweight champ, and she corrected me. So I know where you get your energy and your guts from. But Jim Brown told me a story. He said, you are a very unique man, a white man accepted by the Nation of Islam. And I had the privilege of sitting down with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he told me there's a greater power has you here with us other than Muhammad Ali and myself. Allah has you here. So his God was Allah, and he believed in this, and he was entitled to believe in that, just like the Pope and Jesus Christ or the Jewish people and the Messiah. So everybody has their own religion, as long as they believe in something. And getting back to Elijah Muhammad, he cleaned out more people with drugs, drunk, and he, at that time in the early mid-60s, early 70s, all the movies in Hollywood, the black man was the pimp, the killer, the drug dealer. When he was alive, that stuff didn't happen. He demanded respect, he wanted respect, and he got respect, and he taught the black man about an education. The greatest gift in life to yourself is an education. And I had a lot of respect for that man, even to this day. Minister Louis Farrakhan, I think he's one of the most articulate men on planet Earth, and it's about respect. They respected me, I respected them, and that's what life's about.
And speaking of that sometimes we have culture clashes. When you first came to Las Vegas, what did you notice about the culture here? I know you worked in the industry for many years, and then your relationship with Muhammad Ali goes all the way back to the 1960s. But if you did a compare and contrast with Las Vegas then and Las Vegas now, what would you say is the
Well,
big difference?
when I came to Las Vegas, Ali was fighting, I think, a Jerry Quarry or Joe Bugner or whatever it was, and I was impressed by Vegas. There was the city was open, the restaurants are open all the time, the laundry rooms are open all the time, and you could be Frankenstein with the little bone in your head, walking down the street, and you meet a pretty girl, L.A. or New York, and you give her your call. I want to go to Vegas. So everybody in life, they want to have a friend in Vegas, and I was fascinated by it. I was intrigued by it. I thought it was unbelievable. It was like Disneyland for grown-ups. And I became part of that. When Ollie retired from boxing, I came out. I worked with Morris Shanker at the Dunes as his assistant. And at that time, 1978, a black guy came in the casino. We got two coming through the door. All of a sudden, the security guards come over, run them out. And then Ali came to see me. He said, "We're black people." I said, "I met with Mr. Shanker, and we were the first to hire black executives at the Dunes Hotel." So I created, and then I became friends with a lot of the black entertainers, Nipsey Russell. He told me Alina Horn one time was appearing at the Riviera, and she jumped in the swimming pool, and they drained the water. I mean, this is the stuff that went on here. But we came a long way, and we still have a long way to go. See, it's about respect and love. Look at the killings we just had. 19 people and 2 adults. It was all about hate, hate, hate. I don't want to be around hateful people. I don't want to be there. That's not what I'm about. My mother told me it's about love people, help people, and always go help the underdog. So I've been blessed. I've been a blessed man to be in that world, to see people. Everybody has problems. I don't care who you are. You see a black man on the street, he got a little problem. You see a white man, everybody got problems. You try to help them and make things work out. Now, my story of my life, when I made decisions with my heart, they failed. When I did decisions with my head, there was success. So you gotta look at the big picture, and it's about helping people and give everybody a chance.
So you kind of described back in the day they used to call Las Vegas the Mississippi of the West because it wasn't as diverse as it is now. It was basically a city for white people, and a lot of Southerners came here, and they were used to this Jim Crow rule where even some of your friends that were great entertainers had to go through the back door instead of coming through the front door. They had to entertain and leave out the back door. But I know you were a part. You were one of the change agents that brought the cultures together. And I can remember that I read that you met Muhammad Ali back in 1960.
In the 60 Olympics. Yeah, we met. I was an officer playing sports in Germany, Munich, Germany, 24th Division. I played 3 sports, football, baseball, basketball, and they needed someone to come in and sign pay badges for the people in the Olympics. Don Bragg, Scooter McClure, Eddie Crooks, and of course they asked me, I said myself. It was a great R&R for me. I went over there, and I met this young kid, Cassius Clay, nice human being guy. And I always said if they had to pick a mayor of Olympic Village, it would have been him. He was all over with everybody, speaking to everybody. And I remember I was walking down the street with him one time, and a beggar came up, and he said, fighter, yeah. He said, can you give me some money? And Cassius looked, he said, I got $8, I'll give you 3. And I said, Cassius, you only have $8. You gave him 3. He said, God might have tested me. So if I didn't do my part, God's going to get back at me. If he's lying, God's going to get him. So I did my part. But I had income coming in. I was in the service. Those poor guys had nothing coming in. They didn't even give them stamps to send home. So we've always stayed close. And then I came out. I went with the Philadelphia Eagles. He went into boxing. And then when he got exiled, I decided to really dig in and help him out. I had him doing the college lecturing. He was in #1, the greatest demands of all college lecturing at that time. And then I helped him get a license back, and we went in. And then I told him about his own training camp. You should have your own training camp. It's a write-off. He didn't believe it. I had to bring the guy in, the head of the IRS. I brought a big accountant from New York to explain to him everything was a write-off. He used to tell me, we're going to go to jail, but they're going to get me, the black man. They're not going to get you. I said, no, it is. So I kind of made a businessman out of him. But being accepted by not only his family and all, by being accepted with the Nation of Islam and all. I didn't have any con game in me. I remember one time Herbert Muhammad came up to the training camp, and there was myself and 8 black people having dinner. And Herbert looked in there, and Herbert said, "Yeah, I want to talk to you, Judge." He called everybody Judge. He said, "How you feeling there with all them black people and just you?" I said, "I don't look at it. I'm colorblind." He said, "Ooh, if that was me, I'd be embarrassed if I had to sit all them white people and just me, But that wasn't me. I wasn't raised like that. I was raised that God made everybody equal, and even though they're not equal, it's all about hate, respect, I've been blessed to have been in a great situation. Timing is everything.
I think that you were a big part. When we had lunch together, I asked you this question. I said, Muhammad Ali was such a pariah after he did not go to the war. And I said, how did that get turned around? How did people...
Well, Abdul Rahman, the one who introduced Muhammad to the Nation of Islam, he said when Gene Kilroy came around Ali, they looked at him as the end draft dodger. When Gene Kilroy got done, he was the most recognizable man on planet Earth. Number one, I put him in touch with the Kennedys, Teddy Kennedy. We did everything, got passports, got this, get everything done. And then not only that, we helped get him a license back and, take him to Shriners Hospital, visit the kids in the hospital. And Shriners Hospital is all Masons. When he came up before the Supreme Court, 3 of the people were Masons. They said, how bad is this guy? He comes to our hospital, no cameras, no nothing, spends time with the kids. But that was him, I opened the door, showed him what life was about, But he learned from his mom and dad. His dad was the lion of the house. His dad worked hard, painting signs, did paintings and all. And his dad always bragged, my wife never had to work. My wife never had to work. And that, no matter how many people they brought home. He told me one time my mom would cook for everybody. I'd say, Mama Bird, what about you? She said, I'll eat later. She was afraid to eat because she didn't want to take some food away from his friends. But the good woman, a great woman, and had a lot of respect for me, as so did Cash.
Mr. Kilroy, the thing that brought you and Muhammad together was both of you had the same type of upbringing, only your parents taught you to be that integrous individual, and so did his parents. So I could see after meeting with you and talking with you how kindred souls you were with Ali. But you were more like a big brother or a surrogate father to him, because some of the things that I've researched and looked at, especially when it comes to Las Vegas and how you two made such an economic impact on this town with his fights.
Well, you got to remember one thing, and I say this from the bottom of my heart. When he accepted Islam, it gave him a whole different identity. At that time, here in America, we just thought there was Jewish, Catholics, Protestants. We didn't know about Islam or anything like that. So it gave him a new avenue and a new name, and it created a new self-respect that he had to have, And he prayed to Allah. He believed in Allah. And I remember Elijah Muhammad would call him and tell him before fights, you can't lose. Allah is on your side. And that was like his booster rocket. That other fighter suddenly, listen, don't have Allah. I got Allah. I'm not afraid of nothing. This is the Muhammad Ali I knew. My precious times were him when we were by ourselves discussing everything. One time we discussed, he said, Gene, if you had your life to live over, would you do anything different? I said, no, it wouldn't be us. We had to do our own thing. He said, me too, that's good. We had to do our own thing. You had to take the falls, jump up, you'll learn every day. When you stop learning, there's nothing blinder than a man who refuses to see. And that goes back to racism. How are we going to keep a black man down? The early days, I heard all kind of stories about the black people. They couldn't even read the Bible. They weren't allowed to read the Bible because they didn't want them to learn how to read. That's terrible today. It's hatred, and because of a man's skin. This is not right. There's something wrong.
And I know that you probably had a lot of conversations with Muhammad about that type of subject. But I want to ask you this: What was the biggest fight that you can think of that really turned this town to boxing that Ali was involved in? Was it Sonny Liston, or can you remember?
Well,
Or
he
was
didn't
it
fight Sonny Liston here. He fought him in Miami and then up in Maine. But I remember when we came in here for the Jerry Quarry fight, he just bought a big mobile home. We drove it out. Ali, myself, Alonzo Johnson, his brother, some of the sparring partners, and we walked in Caesar's Palace about 2 a.m. And we walked down and the crap table stopped. Everybody looked at him. And we went in the coffee shop. I mean, it was unbelievable. I said, this is a great city. And then Joe Louis was here. Joe was always our friend, close to us, and Billy Kahn would come by. It was like a big happy family. Everybody tried to help you here. Now it's a bottom line. It's a.
You're talking about the difference between 1932 when we first started getting gambling in the state of Nevada. It was, the boys used to run the place.
Yeah.
And when I say the boys for
Yeah.
our audience, we're talking about alleged mobsters.
The mob, yeah.
That ran here, but they would give you anything and everything you want. They just wanted you in action.
They know if you were an honest guy, if you came in as a hustler or user or con man, you were gone. But everybody, the story of life, all you want to do is have people treat you the way you want to treat them. Mm-hmm. It's a reciprocant. I respect you. I want you to respect me. That's the story of life. That's all you want in life. Everything is about respect. And this town came a long, long way, but it still has a long way to go. How many black executives do you see around here? I'm just saying the way it is. I had friends of mine was big in the casino business. They were executives in gaming, executives in hotel. But because he was a black man, he probably didn't get the right opportunity. But it's about. And black people, when they're given an opportunity, black people tell me, I got to try harder, work harder, do more. I mean, I had a chance to sit down with Jesse Owens and Jackie Robinson, all kind of people, Joe Louis, Johnny Bratton, Kid Gavilan, and you see, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. But it's about life. Everything's about respect.
Do you remember when because I know you're close to the Kennedys, do you remember when John F. Kennedy came to Las Vegas? Do you
that
recall
was before my time.
That was before your time. But I see pictures of you, and we're going to show this to the audience. We'll edit this into. This is a picture. Can you describe this picture and what was going on?
That's myself and young John Kennedy. I was working at the Golden Nugget. He came in and spent a week with me at the Golden Nugget. Everybody loved him. He was such a nice guy, and I've always stayed in touch with him. And I went to his mom's funeral with him, and it was just a tough, it was unbelievable. I remember sitting down with Rose Kennedy. She's 92 years old, up in Hyannisport, the Kennedy compound, and she's telling me about her sons, Bobby and John, and all they wanted to do was help people, and they were shut down. It's not right. They were good people, It would break my heart to see things like that.
And this, I wanted to go to this other picture. This is a picture. Can you describe this to us?
Yeah, this is in Zaire, Africa, when Ali knocked out George Foreman. Now, let me tell you about Zaire, Africa. Ali had no fear of George Foreman. No fear. I remember we got off the airplane, and he said to me, who don't they like over here? I said, I guess white people. He said, no, I can't say George is white. He went, somebody may shoot you with a dart. So we got off the airplane, and he said, who? I said, the Belgians. So we got off at 2 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was yelling, Ali, Ali. And Ali went, shh. You could hear a pin drop. George Foreman's of Belgium. And they start screaming, Ali Boumaier, Ali Boumaier. I said to our interpreter, what that mean? That means Ali, kill him. Because the Belgians, they own the gold mines and all the diamond mines. And they put the dogs on the people. And here comes George Foreman off the airplane when he arrived. And he had his German Shepherd dog, Diego.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, we're home free, Ali.
Boy, that was really something that
This is very...
took. This picture right here, can you explain this?
Yeah, this is 1971. We did a march to help the Indians out. The longest march in Washington, you'll see myself, Stevie Wonder, Marlon Brando, Dick Gregory, Molly, Buffy St. Marie. She was the Indian song that would sing rebellious songs about the Americans. And we marched on to Washington with them, Molly and I had Teddy Kennedy meet us. And this started this helped the Indians. Eventually, they got casinos, they got this, they got that. But this was the breaking point of it. You see Marlon Brando there, myself, Stevie Wonder was a young kid, Buffy St. Marie, Ali, I'm back here.
You were a young kid too.
Yeah, but this is life. You know, you gotta. When the great scorer comes to mark against your name, he marks not the win and loss, but the way you played the game. So I don't know if I go out. I hope when I go, people will say, "Well, I respected him. He did good. He helped a lot of people."
When you saw Las Vegas, when did you see Las Vegas change from that? Well, when you got here, it was starting to change. But when you introduced the boxing and the Ali and some of the fighters that you had that fought here, how did you see this town changing? Where they started
when corporations took over, everybody became a number. You know. Now here I had a meeting with the MGM. I said, this guy came in, he lost $100 million, he lost $100,000. If he'd have bought a car for $100,000, anytime he came in, the dealer would give him a car. He just gave the money. So we gotta respect and don't burn out the customers. Today they do that. You know, a man only has so much money, and nobody beats gambling. I don't care who they are. You go to the airport. I told my mom one time, you go to the airport, how did you do? Everybody won. Everybody won. If everybody won, they'd be closing them down. But people have pride. They don't want to say they got their butt kicked. But nobody beats those casinos.
I heard a joke by a comedian some years ago, and he said the only way you can double your money in Vegas is to take your money out your pocket, fold it up, and put it back in your pocket.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I wanted to ask you about this picture. This picture is, can you describe that?
Yeah, that's myself, Mike Tyson, and Ali. When I got a call in New York City from a reform school in New York, and they said no one ever comes out there to see the kids. And I say, Ali, do you want to go out? Do you know where it is? I told the lady, come in and get us. And we went out there, and there was like maybe 85% black, African-American, and 5% white, and 10% Spanish. And we showed the movie The Greatest and all. So about 6 months later, I got a call from Casamata. He said, Gene, lightning struck twice. I got a young kid here who's going to be the greatest fighter of all times. He said, he knows you. I said, he knows me. Put him on. And on the phone came, hey, man, did Mike Tyson, you came to my reform school. I said, really? Yeah. He said, don't you remember me? He said, I wanted to be the biggest gangster when I seen Ali. I wanted to be a big boxer. He said, but why have a white boss? I said, it isn't about a white boss. We're friends. We get along great together. That's good. And that was my introduction to Mike Tyson. And we stayed friends. I was friends with his family, his kids, his wife, his stepmother, cuz, you know, this is back to the word respect.
It's amazing how you can do something, you know, from the goodness of your heart, and then it gives you so many different types of results. And no way in the world did you think that.
See, you never know who you insult. Muhammad Ali told me a story. When he was Cassius Clay, he was in New York City. He stayed at the Commodore Hotel. He was 17 years old, getting ready to go to Rome. And he wanted to know where was Sugar Ray Robinson's bar. They said, you go down Fifth Avenue on the 71st Street and make a right. It's right there. So he went down the next day. He's waiting there. All of a sudden, waiting 2 hours. Sugar Ray come by. He said, my name's Cassius Clay. I'm going to the Olympics. I want you to be my manager. Okay, kid, okay. And he went inside. He said, can I have an autograph? I'll be out later. So after 2 hours, he left, and he walked down back to the Commodore Hotel. He said, I had tears in my eyes, and I said, if I ever make it big, I'm never going to pass anybody up. And later, Sugar Ray would come around us. Ali would tell him, Sugar Ray, remember I don't remember that, champ. I really don't, you know. But you never know who you pass up. And,
that's right.
You know.
Or who you make a difference to.
Yeah, you know, like it's the story of life is, respect and get respect.
And that's what this business is all. We say that Las Vegas is the #1 hospitality venue in the world, and at one time it was predominantly a marketplace of white, and now we have the entire world coming to us.
Yeah.
That means that we need to understand and respect other people's culture, embrace it, so we can get that return business. I know you saw a lot of that in your day when you were an executive here.
Yeah, but you got to remember, in those days there was only one place to gamble. Now I have friends of mine from Philadelphia. They said, why go to Vegas? I can go to my 15 minutes away, put down $10,000. I'll either win 5 or lose 5 and go home. But it's about, we built great casinos over here, great VIP lounges, and now we have casinos in Macau. Is someone going to get on an airplane and come here to play? No. We went in the competition with ourselves.
So in your estimation, how do we overcome that? Is it with good service or?
Well, here's the thing. Steve Wynn made a very valid point. He said, let them go to the casinos back east or wherever they go, but they still want to see the big picture. So, guys like Steve Wynn, he took pool rooms in Las Vegas and made country clubs out of them. Kirk Kerkorian, he took gambling halls and made great hotels out of them. Benny Siegel, those are the guys. Howard Hughes. Baron Hilton, they were the bakers and shakers of Vegas, not the new people coming
now,
in.
Now, you mentioned Benjamin Siegel. Why you put him right in the same words or company with Steve Wynn, Kirk Kerkorian? Why would you do that?
Well,
and I'm not saying that it's wrong.
I'm just saying he came in here with the mob money with the Frontier Hotel or the Flamingo. He was the first of big gamblers, You got to give credit what's due, Ali told me one time, he who has no imagination has no wings, he will never fly. So you got to have imagination and go for things and believe in something.
He was innovative.
Yeah.
Very innovative. Here's a picture of Mr. Kilroy.
And Bobby Kennedy. I put athletes together for Bobby Kennedy. We were good friends, and I was supposed to go with him to California, but I was busy in Philadelphia and when he was assassinated, But I'm still friends with the family, all the, good fan, good fan being respected.
I've seen in the media, it almost said that, Joe and Ali weren't friends, but can you tell me what their relationship was?
Let me tell you how I met Joe Frazier. I had a friend of mine, Bobby Carmody. He was a flyweight in the Olympics in Tokyo. And on that team was Joe Frazier. So they were doing the Olympic trials at the World's Fair in New York City. And I went with Carmody and I met Joe Frazier. And Joe Frazier got beat by Buster Mathis. And he wasn't, I remember him telling him, I'm not going to fight no more. I don't need boxing. And Carmody said, no, Joe, you're too good. Don't be like that. Carmody told him. So Buster Mathis broke his hand. So Joe went as an alternate heavyweight, and he won the gold medal.
Wow.
And then when Carmody was killed in the service, he was the only guy ever, they should do a movie on him, won a bronze medal in the Olympics, was killed in the service over in Vietnam. So then Carmody was killed in Vietnam, and I called Joe. I said, Joe, Bobby Carmody was killed in the funerals next week. He said, let's go. So I picked Joe up, and we went there. And I thought when I go there, the military people and all, it's Cassius Clay, he didn't go to the service, he went to, and people are saying there should be more like Cassius Clay, more like Muhammad Ali. We didn't belong in that war. And I'm the one I told him, an unjust and unholy war. The people in Vietnam, they went to London and Paris, the rich people. And our guys went over to fight and got killed. And then when it came back, they came back to Vietnam and ruled the country. So our guys, was an unjust and unholy war. So McNamara, who just passed away not too long ago, he said about it was an unjust and unholy war, and Muhammad Ali was
started
right.
Off gambling, and then when it started moving towards the East Coast, they turned it into gaming, and now the nuance or what we say is Las Vegas. It went from gaming to entertainment, and now it's sports and entertainment. What do you think about the sports that
you
have
know,
come
Dr.
here?
Lonnie, I was one of the big guys that rebelled against Vegas being called a sin city. We got great hospitals here, great churches, great people. You know, I remember when the fire was at MGM and everybody dug in, helped the people and all. And I don't like it called Sin City. I went totally against that. You know, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know, this is a great city. I've never seen anyone. The greatest thrill in life is someone not living here to say, I have a friend in Las Vegas. That's money in the bank. I get calls every day. You don't know me, but you knew my uncle and this and that. You know, I got a friend in Las Vegas. You know, they're the type of T-shirts that you should be making and selling. I got a friend in Las Vegas.
Well, I tell you what, when family members find out that you live in Las Vegas or that you've moved to Las Vegas.
You're right. I tell them all, my buddies who moved out here, I said, don't tell your family you're living in Vegas. I have nephews and nieces. The only time I hear from them when they need something. They don't call and say, happy birthday, Uncle Gene. You know, it's the story of life. I mean, when Dan was in the business, his phone rang all the time. People wanting something, doing something. It changed today.
Yes.
When he's not there now, the phone don't ring. Steve Wynn, I bet his phone don't ring.
Well, I wanted to show you another picture, Gene.
That was Muhammad's mom and my mom. That was the day my mom told him she didn't want to hear the N-word, you know. And there's Muhammad's mom.
He was trying to rhyme, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, he was a country guy, you know. I didn't say country boy. He was a country man, you know. He had no hatred. He had no hatred in his heart in that household where he was raised. All love and caring. And, you know, when his younger brother was born, the father said, he's so handsome, we're going to name him after Rudy Valentino. So we had fun.
Well, when Ali, and you've seen these films, and I know you know this, when he threw his gold medal off the bridge into the water, what do you think really compelled him to do that?
Well, he told me the story, and some people got the wrong story. They said it never happened. That did happen. He said he went to Woolworths, and he went into the counter, sat there, and the waiter came by, and she said, we don't serve colored people here. He said, I don't eat colored people. I want some chicken. So they said he had to leave. So he took the medal. He went back to the river. Him and his brother Rockman, he threw it in. He said, it isn't worth anything. You know, here it is. And he told the people over there in the Olympic Village, they said, the Russians told him, you could go back, you can't eat in restaurants. He said, yeah, things are going to change, and I'm going to help it change. That was his song, you know, and he helped change it.
I think he did. I think there was a lot
Look at the old fights, 1945 or early 50s. You won't even see any women in the audience, all guys. Now, today, you see all the women, all the beautiful ladies. Everybody dresses like they're going to the Academy Awards. You know, he brought out the people. He said, the people who don't like me, they come to see me get beat. And he said, but the people who like me, they wanted me to win. And I remember Frank Sinatra telling me, when he started out, I didn't like that loudmouth. He said, but everything he said he's going to do, he did it. And I admire him for that.
And you said that now you see more women coming to the fights,
Yeah.
and people are dressed to the nines,
Yeah.
and it's a real big event now. So I wanted you to describe this
Dad,
picture.
I took that picture of Ali in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania. That's one of his favorite pictures. And I took it, and that was one of his favorite pictures. And I felt I felt good that he liked it, you know, from me taking it and all. And
what can you say as far as Las Vegas is concerned, moving into the future, some of the things that we just talked about, how can Vegas continue to be the number one venue for hospitality in the world?
Well, what did Howard Hughes say? If you build it, have the rooms that are going to come. And that's what it's about. people, like you said, if when your family moves here, don't tell them you're here because they'll all want to come see you.
What was the most exciting? And this is a hard question to ask, impromptu. What was the most exciting event that you've ever gone to in Las Vegas?
Oh, there's been so many.
I know. That's it. It was an unfair
me introducing
question.
Ali to Elvis. It was a very big thing, and Ali was surprised that Elvis even knew who he was, and just stuff like that. Just Elvis was a humble guy. Elvis reminded me a lot of Ali. He loved his mom like Ali loved his mom. The both of them were heavy-set women and all, and I've had so many good times here, One time I was asked, they said, "Do you have any fear?" I said, "Yeah, I have a fear. I think someday my mom's going to wake me up and say, 'Come on, it's time to go to school.' Like my life is a dream." Here am I sitting with Joe Louis and Billy Kahn at the Dunes Hotel, and we had a chef there, Ozzy, would make him calf's liver. And Billy Kahn's telling Joe Louis, "Joe, I was winning the fight. You should have left me win it. Then we could have had another fight. Then a third fight. And Joe Louis was a man of few words. He said, 'You were winning. You didn't know what to do.'" I'm sitting there listening to this conversation. It's unbelievable. I had the privilege of introducing. I'm sitting in the coffee shop with Sugar Ray Robinson and Ali. Who comes through the door? John Madden. Boom, 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 boom. "Hey, what are you guys doing? Come on, sit down here." John Madden is a big boxing fan. Ali wanted to talk football. Sugar Ray Robinson wanted to talk football. John Madden wanted to talk boxing. Now, here it is later. I took the picture, I took a picture of John Madden and Sugar Ray Robinson and Ali, and I sent it to him. Now, 2 days later, Ali was there for a wedding. Some muscle kid came up and said, "I'm John Madden's son. I want to get a picture." Well, okay, come on, take it. I took the picture. Years later, John Madden's son, Mike Madden, bought the training camp. And he has a legacy. He's keeping the legacy of Ali's Dream Alive, that training camp in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania.
Isn't that amazing?
He put his money where his heart is. Now, I seen guys come around with their knockoff briefcase, their rented Cadillacs, their Robert Hall suits, all had another big deal for Ali. My job was to run my way. I'm the white man that he don't love, I went through unbelievable stuff with the people around Ali. There's a picture there. I'll show you here. This is our security guard. Pat Patterson was telling Ali, "We got a white boss." Ali said, "The white man will beat your butt." No, he won't. So I said, "Let's go fight him in the street." No, Ali said, "In the ring." So I went in the ring with him, knocked him out in there. That's the picture he took.
And he's raising your hand, huh?
Yeah, Ali raised my hand to win her. And then after that, Patterson got so humble, everybody said you should have whipped his ass about 2 years ago.
I want to ask you this question. Yeah, we talked about some contemporary things that's happening in Vegas. Did you read or have you heard that Colin Kaepernick is now at the camp of?
Yeah, but here's what they're doing. The man hasn't played for so long. They're sacrificing him to the Wolves. He can't read the defensive end anymore. I don't care who you are. You've been away from it so long. When is the last time you thrown a football to a receiver? When is the last time you read a defense? That's just publicity stuff.
The reason why I brought him up is because Ali was out of boxing for...
Yeah, but listen, Ali was a young man at that time.
Okay, I was trying to use that as an analogy.
Yeah, no, but Ali was just a young guy.
When he came back.
Yeah.
So now you think, what do you think about the gesture of them allowing him to come? I know...
They're sacrificing the golden cow. It's a bad situation. Aaron Thomas, he came to see us one time. He had a lot of trouble when they played the national anthem. He bent over, put his butt towards the flag and all. And we tried to get him back in sports, but we tried everything and it wouldn't work. But he got to be realistic with himself.
Yeah.
Can he do it anymore?
About Father Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look I told all the fighters, you beat everything but Father Time in the heavy bag. And I say, you don't really know what's about boxing till it's time to retire with the 2 contracts, this and that. Now, you buy a clip of the Ali Frazier fight or the Ali Foreman fight for 4 seconds, it'll cost you $30,000. The fighter don't get that. Tony Curtis, my friend, they do clips on his stuff. He gets mailbox money. Look at this, I got this chicken today. But fighters, they screwed over fighters. There was no one protecting the fighters. Nobody. They have a commissioner in baseball, football, basketball. That's what they should have in boxing, a national commissioner. But everybody has their hand out there. I mean, it's terrible.
With the, you mentioned so much hate that has been stirred up in America recently. Even back when Ali, there were a lot of people that hated him, but then he turned it around. The hearts of Americans, most Americans started loving Ali. Do you see that ever happening for Colin Kaepernick?
To be successful, there's an old saying in business, surround yourself with successful people. I don't know who he's just surrounded with, what they're telling him. If it was me, I'd say, you stayed on stage too long. Just get out, do different thing, start writing books, do lecturing, But don't make yourself a scapegoat saying, you go back to throw a pass, there you throw it, there's a defensive back, picks it off, scores on you. Then they're going to boo you. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember Willie Mays was a good friend of mine and a good guy. I remember he had the Willie Mays dugout in New York. We used to go there all the time. And then his last couple of years in football, in baseball, where he's running for a fly ball and fell down. You can't stay too long. Like Ali said, the biggest thing, no one have a picture of me, a guy standing over me, knocking me down. That doesn't happen.
But with all of that said, on the physical level, as far as the Raiders are concerned, that was one team that gave him a shot, that would at least invite him to camp. And I just think that.
But he has to make the decision.
Yes.
Do I want to go out? Do I want to stay on stage too long?
Yes.
I don't know his financial situation, but he took a stand, then he took a right stand. What the police are doing to the black people, beating them, and that's terrible. I mean, it's murder. It's murder. I can't breathe. I just think, look at in L.A. What was the guys they beat up over there with the
Rodney King?
Rodney King. If some guy didn't take that it would have been.
It never happened.
Yeah, it never happened.
Yeah.
Today you have cameras all over.
But do you know that they have a bill over in Arizona? I think it's I don't know, and I'll have to get our guys to research this. But a bill that says they want to tell the people that they can't film the police anymore. Isn't that something? That is.
When that comes out, the congressman who pushed that will be out of a job.
Yes. Well, Mr. Kilroy, and I'm going to call you Mr. Kilroy because I know you tell me we have the same.
Yeah.
My middle name is Gene as well. I just really we're just scratching the surface for those of you that want to know more about Mr. Kilroy. All you have to do is Google him. I mean, it's just every picture.
See, there are no secrets anymore.
But you don't need any secrets. The things that you have done, you should be proud of. You can't please all the people all the time, but I tell you what.
The biggest thing about life is, like Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror. You got to look in that mirror. I look in the mirror. There's some mistakes I made that didn't do right, But overall, I think, there is a God above. I never hurt anybody. I try to help everybody. I feel good about myself. If I go to my maker, and like I used to tell Ali, if we go before God, Allah, or whatever, he's not going to say, what have you done? What could you have done? So, that's what it's about life, The big, like I say, respect. That's the biggest word about respect.
Well, you have done a lot for a lot of people, And for our little humble show here, we just love the idea. Everybody was buzzing about you coming here, and a few people didn't believe that you that I could get you to come here. But you didn't do this directly for me. You believe in relationships, and we have a mutual friend who just called you that he did the show, and I said, "Can you ask Mr. Kilroy?" He says, "Why don't you ask him yourself?" We went to lunch. You paid for lunch,
Yeah.
and you told me then you would do the show. I couldn't believe it. You could have knocked me over with a
Well,
feather.
this is what communications. This is what we have to do. Communications. Like Elijah Muhammad said, the Kennedys were friends of the black man. When Malcolm made the statement, the chickens came home to roost. That was, you know. But it's about, when someone helps you and someone hurts you. I don't need a new friend. I'm happy in my own little world. I do my own thing. I'm with my people I like being around. That's Gene Kilroy. There are too many people want to be around me for me to be around someone that doesn't want to be there. I don't care, man, woman, kids, whatever, dogs, anything. Too many dogs want to be around me for some dog want to bite me. Too many people want to be around me for me to be around someone that doesn't want to be there.
Well, I tell you what, we really thank you for coming here and sharing your
It's
story
my honor,
with us.
and you do a great job. You're telling the people what Vegas is about and all. I hope people listen to it. I hope you get a great following, and you got to get a couple of the peoples on who helped this community, did right by the community. That's what it's about.
And that's what we're trying to do. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, if you liked what you've heard here, just hit like and subscribe. And thank you so much for joining us for Las Vegas Hospitality Evolution. And this gentleman here is the epitome of one of those individuals.
I was just a blessed man to be in the right place at the right time. And never kiss Bud or, just being stand up.
I tell you what, you're very direct. and that's what's so lacking today is people, when what they say is what they mean. And I thank you so much for gracing our.
Okay, Dr. Lonnie.
Thank you so much,
Nice
sir.
show.